around between 4:30 and 4:45 in the morning. And first thing I do is grab my coffee and head on into the living room and spend some time with my husband and reading the Bible and talking, and then I make my way upstairs to start my day. One of my morning habits is to make my bed every morning. Making your bed is so simple. It takes me a minute, and that's me fussing over my bed. It doesn't have to be elaborate. After I make my bed, I immediately start working out. This morning I am working out in my bedroom because I have a short routine that I do. It's just a few exercises. Some mornings when I'm doing something a little more elaborate and I have more of a 30 to 60 minute time window, I'll go out into our office building and I have a full set of weights out there. But on a morning like this morning, I want to get a quick 15 to 20 minute workout in. And so this is kind of what it looks like. I'll do a lower body and upper body workout. And I do it to full capacity. I push myself pretty much to failure on those short workouts. It doesn't have to be much. It can be very simple, very quick. And I think that's one of the lies that us moms will sometimes buy into. Hey, listen, it does not take much time to put into your body and trying to build muscle and to building your stamina. As soon as I'm done my workout, I head right to take a quick cold shower. You can't hear me in the shower, but it takes a little bit of breathing through that cold water. Just a quick rinse off. I'm in there less than 2 minutes. And then immediately getting dressed and getting ready for the day. Putting on some face cream, but to be honest, it is so hot that face cream just mixes with my sweat and just melts right off. So I don't do too much. I think it's super important as a mom that I get up, get dressed, get ready for the day before the kids are up, because it just gives me that time to just get my head in the game. Here I am wiping off the sweat/lotion. Then on downstairs to start getting breakfast ready. My sister recently came into a ton of bagels from a local bakery, and so we have bags and bags of bagels. And so recently our new thing has been bagel sandwiches. So that's been on the menu more mornings than not the past 2 weeks. Cooking with pork lard. So we had pigs butchered just recently. The lard was rendered, and that is my go-to oil of choice for frying, for baking. It's just been a wonderful staple in our home. Because the lard does not get affected with high heat, it's great for frying. So that is our go-to. My 2 children, Selah and Gideon, they are both in charge of emptying the dishwasher, which seems like it has to be emptied. I think we run 3 loads a day now, so I know they get a little frustrated with constantly feeling like they're unloading the dishwasher, but 'tis the life of a large family, and most of the time they're pretty good about helping out and chipping in and pulling their weight around the house. I really enjoy this time of the day when my little kids are just waking up out of bed and we get some good conversations going. I'm heading out to the garden now to grab some tomatoes for my sandwich. This year our garden is a little bit of a jungle. We had a lot going on, but there's still a great harvest out there. Got some volunteer tomatoes that have taken over, so I think that was probably not the smartest thing to have let happen, but you know, who doesn't like an abundance of tomatoes? Little cherry tomatoes and some basil leaves. On my way from the garden, stopped and checked on my dairy cow. They love hanging out by the pond. They'll step in the pond and keep the flies from landing on their legs. So there's old Daisy on the left, and then Juniper and her calf on the right. And I'll get ready to bring them into milk shortly. Breakfast underway. Today I had children coming in to eat breakfast at different times to all sit down together for breakfast. That's usually when we go through our character building books and our habit books and different missionary stories and things like that together. It's just a time to get together, get centered in the Word with Christ, pray together, and then start our day. Today it looked a little differently, though. They were all funneling in at their own time frame. On to get grain for Daisy. Today I have a neighbor that's coming over to milk, so I'm getting her set up, but today is my off day for milking, which is nice. It's been about once a week that she comes over and she'll milk for me, so I don't have to do that, and she gets to take the milk, so it's kind of a win-win for both of us. So last night, my two older girls spent the night at their friend's house who lives right down the road, so they kind of do this whole back and forth spending the night at each other's houses sort of thing. So that's them coming in for breakfast. So like I said, we normally try to eat together, but sometimes, things change a little bit. So here I am getting water for the birds, and then also head down to the bank barn to get grain for everybody. And I take those buckets of water and grain out to the different fields. We've got 3 groups of birds, well, I guess technically 4 groups of birds in 3 different fields and settings. So I use the side-by-side to take the water and the grain out to them. I'll be honest, I love to be able to do things, on my own by foot, but I couldn't imagine walking all this water and grain way out to the field. So thank goodness for side-by-sides. Here is my small group of turkeys this year. These are Thanksgiving turkeys that we're raising for ourselves, some friends, so they get their food and water for the day. I have this in a portable setup so that way the fence and the hay wagon can be moved around for them periodically, so that way they don't poop and eat up the grass in one location. It spreads it out throughout the fields. These are my pullets and the occasional little rooster. They're getting their water and their food. They are not laying eggs yet, so we're checking on the eggs that will start appearing any day now, but we don't have anything to collect right now. We have the portable hen house and the portable poultry netting just to help as a double barrier from predators. The dogs do a pretty good job, but every once in a while animals sneak through. So during the daytime, I open up the fences and let the birds completely free range. Well, last night I ended up having 2 meat birds get their heads ripped off by an owl. This will happen occasionally, and what solves the problem is throwing one of the dogs in this pen with the chickens. Because the pullets are locked up in their coop at night, we don't have any issues with them really. It's mostly these meat birds because they'll sleep out around their coop instead of going in, and so the owls will just pick them right off. So like I said, I'll just throw a dog in here and they'll just hang out with the chickens at night, and that will solve the problem. The other thing that I can do, and every once in a while I cannot convince the dogs to come up here, so I'll round up all the chickens and stick them in the building and then shut the door. I don't like to do that. It's not ideal because I'd prefer them to be able to sleep out in the open at night instead of having to be in that building. But, at least I've got 2 options if need be. I'm always thankful for my sweet little children who take the time to help me do all these chores and make them go much smoother. Normally we've got animals trying to charge this gate and get out, so having a second set of hands to be on gate duty definitely helps. Selah is in charge of collecting eggs and feeding the chickens. These are the current laying hens that we have laying eggs. This little pen right here is our brooder. We've got these little guys that are in the transition of making their way outside of the brooder, but they're still safe in their little pen. So over the next week or 2, they'll slowly start to make their way out that door, and then we'll turn them loose with the other young pullets out in the field. Shay is helping me do this little chore of feeding the chicks. I can't say that it necessarily makes things go by quicker, but these little tasks help them to gain the confidence that they need, so that way eventually they can be doing these tasks on their own, and then I can start putting more of my time and attention on other things that they can't do. So Gideon found some eggs hiding. The downside of having free-range chickens. It's like an Easter egg hunt every day. Ooh, little Petunia. She's so pesky sometimes. She likes to get in the barn. I try to keep the doors open to air it all out, but she takes advantage of those open doors and makes a mess all over the barn. So in the morning, I bring our livestock guardian dogs into the barn, and kind of I must view it as putting them to bed for the day, because they are up all night long, monitoring the fields, making sure that no fox or raccoons or any predators are going to get to our livestock. I bring them in to the stall during the day. It's nice and cool in there. I shut the doors, give them their dog food, and just kind of let them just rest for the daytime hours. Marge has been diagnosed with Lyme disease, so she is getting her daily antibiotics, which she does not like. Oh well. After the outside chores, then I get laundry switched over, started. I've been trying to get some of these winter blankets washed and ready to go for the next season. So I'm thankful for a clothesline where I can let all these big bulky items hang out in the sun and air out for a few hours. And back inside for a little preschool snack, I guess, if you will. My kids will absolutely annihilate carrots. So, got some peaches and some carrots going on for a snack. Oh, he's such a ham. Then I grab my protein smoothie in the morning, and I like to pack this thing full of raw milk, raw eggs, get myself a little kickstart. So, cleaning up from breakfast, getting the table all cleaned up for school. So we all do our schoolwork around the dining room table. Some of my older kids will go do their schoolwork in their rooms, but we do a lot of single room family style learning for science and history. We all sit around the table and work on those together. So Shay is trying to help clean this table off with her foot, because of course she's 2. So while some of the kids are working on their independent work or gathering their books together, I am going to do a quick run through of the bathroom, try to get the toilet and sinks cleaned off real good. Just, if I don't do anything all day long, at least I know my bathrooms are in somewhat decent shape. Grabbing another load of laundry and getting that underway. It is a constant chore. Because these 3 younger ones are still learning how to read, I am working on their math and their English with them. Those are their individual studies that they just need that extra help with. Every once in a while, the older girls will be sweet enough to kind of help. We'll hear Gemma, she enjoys helping, she can read, so she's helping the other younger 2. But these are the subjects that require a little bit more of my one-on-one attention. So I bounce back and forth between them, knock those subjects out. And then after these subjects are done, oh, poor Selah, she's having a hard time. After these subjects are done, then I'll gather all the older kids together and we will sit down and work on science and history together. But that's kind of the typical book-heavy school day, I guess, if you will. We do a combination of Charlotte Mason style and also unschooling. So even though we have some books that we work through, I also really try to encourage the kids to focus on topics that interest them and really dive into those things. So I will never turn down them diving into an interest just to get some books checked off our list. So I really try to stay open to what their interests are and pushing into that. So now after school, getting lunch out on the table for the kids. We are having leftovers for lunch today. So just what we ate for dinner last night, I'm just reheating and making lunch. While that is heating up, I am making carrot salad. If anybody's tried carrot salad, it is shredded carrots. You have to shred them lengthwise, which is why I use the peeler. A little coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, pinch of salt, mix it all around real good. And it is one of the most delicious, like vinegary, salty, but then you got that sweetness of coconut. And it helps with regulating the hormones. It actually helps as a binder to estrogen, apparently, so they say. It helps remove excess estrogen out of your body. And I just find it a good, healthy snack. It's now serving up lunch for everybody. Gideon is not thrilled about having soup for lunch. So a little mom stink eye right there. After lunch, getting the dining room and kitchen cleaned up. I try to use this as a rule. Always make sure to clean up each meal, after each meal, so that way your kitchen and your dining room are completely reset and ready to go. Otherwise, if you don't, it will get way out of control and build up and become an awful mess. So at about between 12 and 1, depending on what time we get our lunch started and cleaned up, I then have a specific task for each day of the week. Today is Thursday, and Thursday is my anti-procrastination day. It's where I pick a task that I've been putting off and I sit down and work on it. And it could be something simple like, oh, I need to go out and clean the chicken coop, or I need to pay this stinking bill. So it's up to my discretion what is the most important thing that needs to be done that I've been putting off. Today, I could not get Gideon and Shay to take a nap, so I will use educational little apps that they can spend some time looking at, the iPad. I'm not opposed to screen time. I definitely limit it when I do allow them to use it. It is definitely during these windows where I'm working. Right now, I am trying to work out my meal plan and coordinate it with what activities we have going on during the week. And then I use the whiteboard with all the grids. I have written down each day just kind of a plan on what I could do as a meal. I do not stick to it, but when I'm in that mood where I don't know what I want to make, I'll go over there, reference it, see how I can plug different meals in. So it's just kind of a guideline. And what would a day in my life be if I didn't have to stop what I was doing to go chase animals who got loose? So I'm hollering for all the kids to come help. And hopefully as a group we can round them up and get them back into their pens. Well, that turned out to be a disaster. They somehow got into my feed room and completely trashed it. So back inside, I need to get dinner started. I am making waffles, and it takes a few hours for the batter to sit. So a few hours ahead of time, I get started making all the batter, getting prepped, and then I'll let that sit while I go get some other tasks done. So I decided to add home fries to the menu as well. I chopped up the potatoes kind of into like French fry sizes and deep fried them in pork lard and then sprinkled them in salt. So throughout this whole dinner prep process, I had Chris coming in to help me, and then I've got one of my older daughters, Dessa, coming in to help me. She's kind of the French fry queen. She likes to deep fry French fries. So I recruited her help. And then sneaky little Shay decided to have her taste of batter when my back was turned. So after dinner, I got cleaned up, got the kids started to get themselves ready for bed, and then I head outside to lock the barn doors up, to let the dogs out, and close up all my animals for the evening. Last thing I do after locking the barn up is I try and scan a little bit over the fields, make sure right before I go to bed that all of the animals look okay, I don't notice anything suspicious, and that wraps my evening up.